Welcome back to another daily devotional. Today we are on day 3 of the 5-day Bible plan. Savage warrior called to be rugged and righteous. I don't know, I just like saying that. So let's jump into our Bible verses for the day. The first one is 2 Corinthians 10, starting at verse 5. It's only verse 5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. I know in the last video I just talked about taking thoughts captive and giving them to the Lord. There you go. Paul backs it up right there, tells us to do it. Also, I think the first part of that, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. That's definitely not saying that we physically beat that up, right? We're supposed to be smart enough to and understand the word enough to give arguments back to people who question things, which is tough. I know I'm not at that stage yet, but that's part of the whole reason why I'm doing this whole video thing as well, as so that I can learn more about the Bible. Anyways, Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. No negative thoughts, people. Only positive thoughts. Anything that's not positive, give it to God. All right, 1 Peter 5, verse 8. Be alert and of sober mind. That right there is why I stopped drinking, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. What a thought. We're not smarter or stronger or have anything close so that we can compete with the devil on anything. Don't do it on your own. All right, so day 3 is titled Soul. So we had Exhibit A, body, and now soul. Our soul is comprised of our mind, our will, and our emotions. These 3 are closely intertwined and sometimes trip over each other while processing thoughts and feelings, which leads to actions and behaviors. A thought leads to an emotion, then that leads to a decision to perform an action related to the original thought. This seems intuitive and fairly straightforward. However, too many times we act before discerning a thought or processing an emotion. Warriors pause and contemplate strategically, considering the potential casualties and possible consequences before executing tactically. I agree with that most of the times. I think there's a lot of times in our lives where split decisions need to be made. And that would be falling back on your training and knowledge. So, why we're in here. It's why we're reading the Word and getting different perspectives so we can choose to understand or start to understand more. Right? King David might be my favorite hero in the Bible. He began as the least likely of warriors, as the runt of the litter, as it were, but ultimately became a man after God's own heart. Imagine the mental gymnastics he must have encountered to generate the courage to fight Goliath. His internal self-negotiations must have been unbearable, despite immense mocking, ridicule, and doubt from the onlookers and adversaries. David understood the importance of standing up and fighting for what he believed. Warriors must engage their inner don't give a darn when the fight means depending on core principles and values. David never wavered from his convictions and was not controlled by fear, doubt, or apprehension. His soul was sturdy and steadfast in completing the mission set before him as a savage warrior. We too will face the day when we have to claim our hill worth dying on for the sake of our family or for our faith. We'll be required to plant our flag with conviction and certainty. We will face a defining moments that require us to stand firmly planted in God's promises of victory. dismiss debilitating emotions, and derive the will to walk through adversity and opposition. Similar to David, we might be the least likely candidate and most unassuming force to overcome the struggle or the battle before us. However, as we read the Psalms, we see David afraid and desperate, yet constantly praising and petitioning God in all circumstances. Resilience remains faithful and determined in spite of hardship. So warriors assess the situation with mental agility and must calculate the tactical response. Despite counterproductive feelings or emotions, our soul can work for us or against us, depending on the lies or the truths that we believe. What are we believing, or what we are believing is what we will be living. That's true. I don't have anything else to add to that, I don't think. So I will see you tomorrow on the next one.